This was our warming up for today. That's so great. Thank you so much for joining today in the Master Teacher Tape Group. And I thought to start with a moment of music and silence and giving yourself the opportunity, in fact, to deeply feel, to come into communication, to pray, however you want to call that. And that's a great start. I love it. So thank you. Now, the hard part is starting to share after a moment like that. It's like, wow, this was so bright. That was so beautiful to be in the garden for a moment and to enjoy the light and the love. And yeah, so now we continue in a certain sense. It's like, but it's like, here's a new moment. Now, what are we going to do? And yeah, one of the things that comes up is like, there was a question like how to listen to this. How can you listen to, for instance, Master Teacher? How do you do that? Because if you try to follow what Master Teacher is saying intellectually, yeah, it's game over. He uses sentences of half a page and seems to be able to, yeah, literally go through a whole loop with you and going back to something, referring forward and backwards, and it's like a perfect Celtic knot that you got yourself into, where you don't even know where it started, where it goes, where it begins, and still somehow it made sense. Now, how do you do that? So yeah, the thing that comes up is then this is totally helpful to release any kind of idea of intellectually following what anyone is saying in the first place. With Master Teacher it's a bit easier because you will not be able to follow everything that directly. But also some things are very clear in the sense of you can understand it, makes total sense. So then suddenly, yeah, it seems to be really helpful to actually listen and follow what he is saying. Now, another way of listening to it is recognizing it as you coming into the direct experience of presence. You could say like you come into this moment. And this moment has a very specific frequency that you can literally connect with as a light frequency. And then it becomes a lot easier. Like if you can step back out of the words, you could say, and just connect within and still hearing what is being said, but listening to it with your whole being instead of with your connectedness, with your presence more than anything else, then it becomes easier. Now that's maybe not directly clear if I share it like this, but you could see it like when you meditate, you're not following your thoughts. You come into a certain quietness, a certain peace within yourself. Now that communicates. So this is the same with listening to Master Teacher. Do the same thing, and it starts to make all perfect sense. Maybe even without noticing the words necessarily, but certainly recognizing the energy that you're sharing in that moment. So that's about as clear as I can get about it. And for the rest, it is like at a certain point your intellect is going to diminish. It goes a bit more to the background. Then there's a resonance going on. One way or the other, you're going to be taken by something that is being shared, and you take it from there, in the sense of you let it flow however it wants to flow in that moment. Now, today we're going to look at a few expressions before we start listening to the talk. And the talk is different than I expected myself to do. Like I had a sequence of what we were listening to in the Sedona classes, but then this one that came up was like, okay, this is the one. So we're going to listen to a different tape, but still, it's great. I'm using a few expressions that you see appear in this talk, just to already have a look at it. And they all have to do with identification, and you'll see it here. So you justify your image association. When he talks about association, because he does that a lot, it is like a general term for where you connect with. Huh? So you connect with your image of yourself. That's your image association. You associate with your image. You justify your image association. It is like the justification for that is what your human life is. You associate yourself with the image that you seem to be finding yourself in, and you want it to be confirmed. This is a bit of the theme that's in this talk, certainly in the beginning. So here's one of the expressions. It's an illusion. It is not real, and then you immediately begin to give variant aspects of it more reality than the other. And you're the dreamer of this dream. I suppose somewhere you allow yourself total disappointment. So it's an illusion, it is not real, and then you immediately, when you hear that, when you see that, you immediately begin to give variant aspects more reality than other aspects. Like some aspects in the dream you can easily say that's not real, but then other parts you think they are real. And because you are classifying it, because you are determining differences, because you are establishing differences, to you it makes a difference what things are. Like you like this better than that, you like healthy better than sick, you like no, and so on. But healthy and sick is a good example. But in fact, it's still the dream. So either one of those has no reality. It is both an illusion. Now, this is the part where we step into today. To a whole mind, and when you get this by acceptance, it makes absolutely no difference what happens here. It couldn't possibly make a difference. Somewhere to you perhaps it still does, because your thinking coming into this makes a difference. Not so. That's the most difficult thing. Like to you it makes a difference what happens here. If somebody, he gives the example too, if somebody would fall down in front of you dead, that would be a different experience than when a baby is born. Or like you make a difference between that. When I start using examples, it becomes more clear. So like it matters to you what occurs here, what you see and how that looks. Some things you don't want, some things you prefer, and some other things that really matter to you. Now this falls away when you start to come into your whole-mindedness, because what would possibly be the difference? If you know the unreality of this place, what could possibly be the difference? There is no difference. There's no difference between a stage 4 cancer or like a cold. Like there's no difference between it. It's both illusory. Now this goes so far, and you can sink so deep into that idea that you start to see it fundamentally, that it really does not matter what the image is. But since you, in your development of yourself as a human being, have set yourself up on these differences, this is literally your foundation for perception. You have founded your perception on differences. You do well at school. No, you don't do well at school. It makes a difference. You're competitive. You want to be the best in school, or you don't want to be the best in school, which is the same thing. You want to be your mother's favorite. You don't want to be your mother's favorite. You want your children to like you. You want your children, you don't want to. You know, it's like, this is like all the things that you've built up, all the social laws are based on an idea of differences. All human laws are based on differences. This behavior is good, that behavior is not good. And you think there's justice related to it, that it makes sense, that this is the, yeah, of course, it's like, of course, yeah, that makes total sense. But is it real? No, it is absolutely not real. It has no basis. So none of it is so. None of it you want. And then we come back to the meditation that we did a moment ago. It's like nothing in this world you want. Like nothing in this world is real. Nothing. No thought about this world is real. So you couldn't possibly decide what you want from here. You want nothing of this. Like you have no need of this. There's also a way of saying it. This world holds nothing that I want. It's the lesson of today. This world holds nothing that I want. Now to say that is in fact not to perceive any differences between an attractive proposal or a not attractive proposal, or a beautiful image or an ugly image, or a sick image or a healthy image. You don't want any of it. Like if you come to know yourself and allow your mind to become whole, you don't want any of it. Because you know it is not real, it is ephemeral, it's temporal, it changes every moment. You don't want any of it. So I'm not going to convince you of that, but it's more like, do you want to know who you truly are? If that is the case, then this is a really good consideration. Where are your perceiving differences based on? They are based on laws that you made up for yourself in order to establish yourself, to justify the image that you associate with yourself. Now this is exactly what this is about. You remember this. Nothing, even in the final dream, can disillusion you unless you've chosen disillusionment in order to retain your identity. That's key. Now see, that's not so easy to hear right away. You remember this. Nothing, even in the final dream, can disillusion you unless you've chosen disillusionment in order to retain your identity. That's key. So it's like if you have put out a desire for something and that's not going to happen, you have set yourself up for a disappointment, right? A disillusionment. Now that seems to be a statement that you could say like, yeah, of course, that makes sense. But you don't realize at the same time that this entails everything that you expect from this dream. Whether that's a healthy body, a sick body, whether that's good relationship, whether that's good finances, whether that's a lovely relationship with your wife, or a lovely relationship with your man, your husband, or your partner, or who knows what. It's like, no, that you don't put out. Like it entails everything. You set yourself up for something you want in the dream. You're setting yourself up for a delusion, a delusionment. Why? Because this dream is a dream. It's an illusion. It's not real. There you go. So to come into the whole mindedness of this is literally to awaken out of the dream, recognizing that it is a bundle of like it's a whole association, to use the word, a whole association of differences based on nothing, based on an illusory idea about yourself. So it cannot have any reality. God does not know about this. Of course not, because he didn't create the temporal. He created eternal life and eternal creating love that you are. See, that's easily said. Now the practice of it. Okay, so now the practice of it. So you see that you haven't fully loaded this into your awareness. You could say because you're still upset if you have a disappointment, right? That's a good one to measure it with. It's like you have a disappointment. Are you recognizing that you set this disappointment up for yourself because you expected something from a place that doesn't exist? Are you aware of that? Well, by now you are aware of that. So in other words, you set yourself up for disappointments. You do that because you expect something from someone, from some place, from some actions, from some thought, in a place that is over and gone. And you expect something from it. You really think there's something going to come back to you that will satisfy you. Otherwise you wouldn't start it. Like this is where the whole free will is based on. Free will, as you know that in your existence, you can choose whatever you want. But all your choices that you make are based on an illusory place that is over and gone. What is the result of that? The final result of that is disillusionment because of that, because of the nature of this place. There can literally not come any other outcome. It's impossible. Now this is something that Master Teacher taught like on a daily basis and still does in the video, on the audio that we're going to listen to. Well, let's see if there's another expression, because see how nice this is to actually take a look at. I know you want to justify our image association. Go ahead, okay? Now here's the crutch of the problem. You think that there's a reason for what is happening, for why it fails or why it is successful. You think that there's a reason for. Wrong. Did you hear that? Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get you to look at. Somewhere you still think, well, everything happens for a reason. So there must be a reason for it, why it's not happening now. But it happened. No, that's not true. Like in a reasonless place, you could say. So coming back, I'll get back to this picture because there's still something there, of course. It's like you think that there's a reason for the things that are happening to you, maybe to learn a lesson or to do something, or that, yeah, sort of kind of God is punishing you for something, like, oh, apparently I'm not ready for that yet. Something has decided that I'm not ready for that. As if there's an authority outside yourself. Now here's the thing too, is like you think that there's a reason for that you are sick, or that you are in pain, or that you are in lack or limitation, that you experience limitation. You really think there's a reason for that. By doing that, by thinking that way, you justify the pain, you justify the lack, you justify the disease. To yourself, you place yourself in a place, literally, where that can happen, and now there's a reason for it. Now that's not so. There's no reason for that. There's no reason for your pain, because the place where you are experiencing it doesn't exist. It's literally not there. It does not exist. Unless in your illusory experience of yourself, what we call the dream, you are experiencing that in your dream and you justify that. There must be a reason for it. And maybe you have some persons that are related to it that seem to be the cause of that. Or who knows what, like they can go any direction. No, there's no reason for it. Because the place that you find yourself is over and gone. It can have no effect. And it did not have effect. It is over and gone. Now what do? I have been practicing make-believe for centuries, for lifetimes. Make-believe. I and my neighbor have decided to make this place real, to confirm to each other, Yes. Oh, terrible. Oh, yeah, that's really terrible. Oh, yes, you're right. Oh, my God. No, we don't have any potatoes either. Oh, there must be like a potato lack somewhere in the country. Oh, now we're all without. And here's the disease. Oh, we believed. Here's COVID. Here's COVID. Oh, my God, it's going to be a pandemic. Now we all believe that there's a pandemic. What happens? There's a pandemic. We all suffer the consequences of it. Like, none of that has any reason. None of that is a real occurrence. None of that really happened at all. That is happening in a place that is over and gone. And it's like when you're home in heaven, you have no remembrance of this whatsoever. You can let go of this immediately, because what would hold you here? There's no reason for this place. Now you think there's a reason for you to be here. And so that's being used in the Course in Miracles, you could say. That's being used temporarily to get you out of the place, even establishing you here and say like, well, you can ask for help, you can do this and you can do that. You can allow the atonement principle to take place here. You have help. You don't have to suffer your way through. No, there's help. There's help in a temporary space that gets you out of where you seem to be finding yourself, the place of no reason whatsoever, the place of complete chaos, the place of reflections of darkness, nothing else. Like literally the place does not exist. So to undo the establishment that you have made here with all the reasons for it and all the confirmation of it, running through still up to today, of course, like, yes, but having no reality whatsoever, it will never be real. Now this undoing it process is taking place in you. Now here we come to this, for you to see that there's no reason for this place means also there's no reason for your suffering. There's no reason for your pain, lack and limitation. There's no reason for it. It is not real. And that's the good news. It isn't real. It can change just like that, in the twinkling of an eye. This is the master teacher, and we're going to listen to him